With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
This episode is brought to you by San Pellegrino Ciao, a new kind of flavored sparkling water. The kind made with real fruit juice, a pinch of Sicilian salt, and the sparkle of the Italian sun. With no added sugar and just 10 or less calories per can, enjoy. With love, from Italy. By San Pellegrino Ciao now.
War Eagle, and welcome to another edition of Ever to Podcast, our somewhat regular get-together with you during the weekdays in audio format here at E2C Network, where we share the Auburn experience, which is all about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. An easier way to say it, though, is if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. So thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to be doing today, episode 43 of Ever to Podcast. Today's date is July 29th. Of 2025. I'm your host, as always, Kyle Loomis, to bring you the latest Auburn news, scuttlebutt discussions across social media, everything, out in person, wherever you're hearing and talking about things. Let's get into it today. We're going to be talking a lot of catch-up from the weekend, especially Monday, which is a big news cycle day. So there's going to be a lot of smaller things that we're going to try to catch you up on today across football. We're going to do a little bit of that talk, some basketball news as well, and maybe even a few other things if we have some time here. Like I said, there is a lot today. I'm actually going to take a page out of my book for a second here and flip the script. I want to talk about basketball first because today was some big news for the schedule. We're still waiting for Auburn men's basketball schedule to come out and women's basketball schedule as well, the full thing. But for the men's basketball schedule, it's starting to slowly come into view. An exhibition game has already been announced. Well, a second one has now been announced, and it's another high-profile one. Auburn will be playing in Atlanta at State Farm Arena against the Memphis Tigers. Now, if you remember, they did that once in the Holiday Hoops Giving event versus the Memphis Tigers, and it didn't go so well. So maybe a little bit of a revenge game for the Auburn Tigers is something that we'll be looking forward to. The Auburn Tigers over the Memphis Tigers. A lot of Tigers being talked about in this. So hopefully you can put that on your calendar and get excited about that because you don't see big matchups like this in the past for exhibition games in Atlanta. Tigers versus Tigers. Obviously, this is a big thing. October 30th, 2025. It'll be interesting to see if this is going to have some charity implementation or something like that. Bruce Pearl's been a big advocate about playing more legitimate exhibition games early on in the season. So that's 2 in October. So basketball is going to be starting almost officially a lot quicker, even though these games won't count for the season. So that was the big news that I wanted to start us off with today because I was just so excited about it. Other basketball news that I want to catch you up on from the week, things that we didn't get to talk about since last episode, which came out on last Thursday. The new banner is up for the Final Four in San Antonio, replacing the one from Minneapolis. So if you haven't had a chance to see it online, plenty of people have shared it. The Auburn account has shared it. That's out celebrating that now. My biggest question is, what did they do with the old one? I kind of want it. I'm sure they're going to hang on to it and put it in storage. But if they don't have a use for it, hey, help a brother out. Let me get that. But go check it out because obviously a lot of people need to continue to celebrate and be reminded of what a great season that was, even if you weren't able to reach the pinnacle. Making the Final Four is no joke. That's why it's celebrated and made such a big deal about the Final Four itself. And other basketball news, just to round out this part of the discussion about basketball, we've been looking all summer about how different players have been performing in the NBA Summer League, and wow, there was a lot of names there, and some news about players, where they might end up. Are they going to stay with their current teams? Well, Denver hasn't really gotten outside of the Summer League a opportunity at the NBA holistically yet, but he is now going to go play overseas in Israel. We've seen this happen a lot. A lot of Auburn players have taken the opportunity to go play over there. I am not as well versed on the situation about where this fits into all of that. So I am going to say that I will try to pronounce this one. This is like, I'm going to try this. Really, it's going to be difficult. Bene Penlink Herzliya is the team name, and it's part of the Israel Basketball Champions League, which I believe is also part of FIBA, the International Basketball Federation, I think is essentially what that is saying there. But he's going to be playing with them for the 2025-26 season. So really, it has a second-year option too, reportedly. That comes from Vince Wolfram. Obviously, this is a big thing for Denver. We wanted him to get an opportunity and do something on a professional stage. So really happy for him to see that yet another one of our guys is getting that opportunity at the next level, even if it's not here in the States as we all would prefer it to be. So many people have had some great careers overseas, Israel or other places out in international lands. All right, let's switch over to football here and talk about a few things that are newsworthy today. We've got today is report day, essentially. It's not officially called that out in the public, but most people understand that when spring practice starts, which the first practice is tomorrow, folks, they call this report day. They probably have meetings, kind of catching everybody, making sure everybody's here, lined up, paperwork's done, all those things set into their rooms properly. This is report day. This is technically the beginning of fall practice for the Auburn football team. So this is an exciting day for everybody. We talked on the podcast this week, the main show, the Auburn Experience, episode 135, about offensive storylines, meaning looking at each of the groups and talking about the storylines, the prediction, not necessarily predictions, but just previewing what might be talked about during this practice season. So get excited. We'll certainly update you if there's anything big to take away from that first day of practice or anything like that. I don't necessarily think there'll be too many big things, but get excited because fall practice has officially arrived with report day being today. Another big staple of the preseason for football is awards watch list. And yes, you have several Auburn Tigers who are already being named to a few of those watch lists. The Maxwell Award, which you know is the big offensive award, not uncommon to see a lot of teams have lots of watch list names on there. Auburn has two of them, Jackson Arnold and, of course, Cam Coleman. You should not be shocked to hear Cam Coleman on there. And I think it shows you that a lot of people are still pretty high on Jackson Arnold. I know there's still some cautious optimism about that, but it's not a small thing in any way to be put on this watch list award. So Jackson Arnold and Cam Coleman find themselves on that. We'll see how that shakes out throughout the season as they whittle that down based off of performance from this point forward. On the same vein, defensive side, the Nagurski Award, which is to the best defensive player, you know who's going to be on there, and that is one Keldrick Falk, who is probably the player that has the most attention across the board other than just fan excitement. Obviously, people are excited about Cam and Eric Singleton, but across the board in terms of prospects for the future, going to NFL, all those things, those fall very much on the shoulders of Keldrick Falk, so it makes 100% sense that he would fall on the Nagurski Award watch list. That was just announced a few moments ago before I recorded this episode. I'm sure there will be a few others that could be out there that we might end up discussing on later episodes, but wanted to give you the updates about who you should be watching because they find themselves on the award watch list. So that's the Maxwell Award and the Nagurski Award, and we just talked about Report Bay. One other final note in just a bunch of smattering of Auburn football topics, and I think this is kind of a silly one, but I'll certainly report on it here. If you care about betting, which you shouldn't, you'll ruin your life if you did. If you participate in it, sorry, I'm preaching, I know, but it's the reality of the situation. But people look at these lines out of Vegas or different sites to kind of see what the temperature is on the matchup. Officially now, Baylor is favored to win based off of FanDuel, the Auburn-Baylor matchup to start off the season, which will be 1.5 they're favored by currently based off of the FanDuel thing. What you do with that is up to you. My advice of what you do to that is just kind of laugh at it and say, whatever. I mean, these things very, very, very rarely work out the way that they're supposed to, or at least the way that those things predict to. But I just wanted to give you a sense of the temperature, something that's being discussed a lot on social media in the Auburn space right now. And finally, I do want to acknowledge this, that last Friday, we haven't talked since then. We did preview that it was coming up, was July 25th, the day that Auburn and Nike was fully into the public, not just as the deal is official and the deal is actively going on. We've got our uniforms coming out, but Auburn fans could go out and online, in-store, buy your Auburn Nike gear. Certainly saw a lot of the hubbub from that day and was very exciting to see all of the people that were excited about it in line early to get their Nike gear. Heard stories about it. People are sharing it online. We'd love to see some of that. In fact, if you bought something Nike, I'd love to hear from you. Hit us up on email, e2cnetwork@gmail.com, or DM us and just let us know what you bought. We might talk about it here on the show. But I'm not someone who's a big brand person, so I probably won't be going out of my way to buy something Auburn Nike. But if I find something I like, we certainly do it. We talked a little bit on episode 135 of the Auburn Experience this week, some items that caught our eye that maybe made us think about purchasing something for a second. But I know it was a very exciting day for so many of you in the Auburn family, and I'm glad that you got to celebrate that finally. So there you have it. Auburn Nike fully officially now is underway. I think that you can purchase stuff as fans. For most people, that's the way it feels now. That's going to do it for episode, what are we on now? 43, I think is what we're at. It's getting, episode 43 of Ever to Podcast, letting us catch you up on the latest Auburn news. As I said, hit us up on DM or email, e2cnetwork@gmail.com if you want to talk to us. And please do download and check out episode 135 of the Auburn Experience podcast. We'd love to see you over there and downloading those as well. Thanks again for being here. Until we talk to you again, War Eagle.